may ask questions. You please give us a sign and you get a microphone and then you can ask your question. I would start. In your film we learn in the beginning, that 10 years ago you went to that area for the first time. What was the original idea? Did you have a film project in mind, or was it a completely different reason or occasion why you went there?
Firstly, thank you very much. I didn't say that, sorry. And there is a story because I was working in a television channel that time, and a journalist friend of mine wanted to make a television short program on river erosion near the dam. So I heard about the idea and I said, can I come with you? He said, yes, of course, you're welcome. So that I just went there, as a friend to my journalist guy, and that was a revelation, And I never saw a river eroding. I saw the homes, just going before my eyes. What you saw, maybe I saw a bit more, and that, that left a kind of imprint that struck me very strongly. And I went back again the next year, and next year, with my own camera, without much of intention, but just to see and record what's going on there. And I realized that gradually this idea of erosion, losing the land, home, and migration was haunting me somewhere, and I just couldn't simply get over it. And so I kept visiting those places, and by the time these people knew me, and there was no char. I saw the river erosion. And meanwhile, another film project came up, and I did that. And after 3 years, when I was busy, river met this char. So when I went back again, I saw all these people shifted to this char. Then I thought, this is a film. This is an idea, because now I get the total perspective over a span of few years, and I see the kind of metamorphosis, a complete transformation of not only the landscape, but the humanity who lived there. And I saw Rubel. Yeah, so the whole thing, came gradually, I would say. Yeah, it took time. Thank you.
Several times the dam is mentioned in your film. Since I know that you studied geology, I would kindly ask you, can you explain from a geological point of view what really happens in between the dam and Char, what we just saw?
I'm not an expert actually to comment on this, but I did my research work, and here my study in geology maybe helped me a bit, but I'm not a geologist per se. This is, as you know, this river Ganga is huge, and it travels through different geographical terrains, from the mountains to the flat areas, the plateau, and then the delta region, what is called the West Bengal and Bangladesh. And the river, where the soil, the alluvial soil is very soft, so the river changes course there, but which it cannot do in the rocky and mountainous areas. So river keeps moving, and this is nothing new in this part of the world. And the people who live there, they know the nature of the river for years, and they know how to live with the river, how to shift and when to shift and where to shift. But it is contended that after construction of the Farakka Dam, there was partition, and in partition we had India and Pakistan. What is Bangladesh today? It was East Pakistan at that point of time, if you remember, and which got liberated in 1971 and became Bangladesh. And India wanted to contain the water, to get more fresh water and stop the whole water going to East Pakistan or now Bangladesh. So it was a direct intervention with the river, and that was the period when the making large dams were in practice all over the world. And the experts came, I think, from Germany to this. And our first Prime Minister, I quoted him, and I think it's a very significant statement. It shows, reflects the socialistic ideology that Nehru had when he got his country free. And he wanted to rebuild the country. And British were left, so this is my land, this is my country. There was a kind of nationalism mixed with socialism and going to big projects. When he, there was no bad intention, I suppose, to make structures like this, but probably our knowledge is limited, and it completely changed the landscape of that area. In the beginning, we made a very small animation how the river actually changes course, and I found this myth and modernity, because a lot of people think the Mother Ganga is divine mother, and they call the river Ganga a snake. So I could see the conflicts and contradictions, and how the life is affected. But geology, I'm not sure if my knowledge of geology is much helpful, but I think my relationship with the people, being there, and seeing this river change, it's not only the course, I mean the facades, different facades of the river was fascinating me. Sometimes it was dry, and the water goes up in monsoon, it becomes misty and mystic in the winter. I think that also, fascinated me. It's the river who controls the lives of the people. So I did not want to just make a portrait of a smuggler boy, but it's a whole correlation between Rubel and the island, the man and the nature, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
There's a question over there.
Which part of the border between Bangladesh and India did you shoot?
Indian side.
I mean, it's in northern region?
No, it's the middle part, where the river Ganga enters Bangladesh.
Yeah.
That is Murshidabad district in India and Rajshahi district just on the opposite. The fact is that normally a river calls people to cross. It calls people to float from one point to another, from one side to another side. That's the nature of the river. And that's how civilization takes place. That's how trades take place. That's how agriculture takes place. That's how languages are formed in relation to river. It's a riverine civilization there. But we made, very conveniently, when we had to make a partition, we made the river the border. And we said, don't cross. So it's against the nature of the river, I think. And not that everywhere the border is the river, but this is a strange situation. You fix a border, you can fix a border. You cannot fix the river. And you cannot put fence in the middle of the river. And the river is shifting all the time. So there is, I see, a lot of, kind of parody, and the whole concept of putting a border, whole parody about nationhood, whole parody about families which get scattered by, acting, by these acts, human acts and natural acts of nature. And I see